Good evening. We'll start this evening flow standing. We'll finish it with legs up the wall. You can stand at the top of the mat. I'm just going to begin facing you so that you can see a little bit better what I'm doing, but I will eventually also go to the top of the mat. So we'll start in Tadasana with our big toes together. Heels are just slightly apart. Lift the toes, spread them as wide as you can. And then slowly, one by one, starting with the pinky, see if you can lower your toes down onto the floor. And then bring the hands onto just in front of your hips and slide them down as you hinge at the hips until your hands come to your knees. And we'll start to make little circles. So move the knees forward to the side and back to the other side. This knee mobility here, as well as ankle. Massage through the feet. Let's switch the direction of the circles. So just go the other direction than what you just did. Good. Coming to center. Now keep the legs as they are. Keep the hinge at the hips. We'll reach the arms forward and up for chair pose. And then lift the toes again, spread them wide. Then lower the toes, lift the heels. Lower the heels, lift the toes. Lower the toes, lift the heels. Couple more times. Heels lower, toes lift, toes lower, heels lift. Hands can also be at the hips. 2 more times. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Last time. Heels lift. Lower them down. Inhale. Rise up. Reach the arms up. Interlace the fingers, flip the palms to face the ceiling. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, slight extension of the spine, just leaning back a little bit. Release the hands, bring the arms down. Again, we'll interlace the fingers, maybe you switch to interlace. Right away, start to turn the palms away from you, reaching the arms forward and up. Lean back just a little bit. Release the hands, bring the arms down. One more time. Actually, let's do 2 more times. Interlace the fingers the natural way. Flip the palms round to the back as you reach the arms forward and up. And then lean back just a little bit. Keep the glutes engaged. Release the arms. Last time. Interlace the fingers awkwardly. Flip the palms round to the back. Reach up. Lean back. And release. As you release, gently fold forward, bending the knees and the hips. And I'm going to make my way to the top of the mat. Good. So now you can bring the feet about hip width apart. Find your peace fingers, grab the big toe, and then move the toes towards each other, the big toe. It's just allowing it to come a little bit to the side. It's often squished in our feet. In our shoes and socks and pushed with all the other toes. So really allow it to come towards each other. Watch the knees. Mine like to come in, so make sure they don't roll in. Good. One more breath. Let go of the toes. Bring the hands to the floor. Step the right foot back. Lower the knee. We'll rise up into 90-90 lunge. Inhale. Reach the arms forward and up. And then lift the front heel and lower, lift the toes, spread them and lower. Lift the heel, lower, toes, lower, heel, lower. Just try to lift the toes now without the ball of the foot. Lower, last time, heels and just the toes. Good. Bring the hands to the inside of your left foot. Slide the foot to the side for gate pose. And I'll just turn around again for a second so you see foot is in line with the knee. We'll start to lift the outside of the foot off the floor and then push it back down. Again, lift and push. Couple more, lift and push down. Last time, lift and push. Slide the foot behind, coming onto the ball of the foot. Hands are under the shoulders and rock forward and back. As you push forward, try to push through all the roots of the toes. And then heel goes back. A couple more times. Good. Let's flip the top of the foot to push into the floor. A little stretch here. Maybe even push into the hands and lift the right knee off the ground just a little bit. and then lower. Lower the left knee down, and we'll walk the hands back until the hips come towards that left heel. Both knees are bent, your right foot on the floor. You can interlace the fingers behind the back. Just start making little circles with the wrists, moving them side to side. And then lift your fingers or your hands off your low back. Good. Release the hands. Walk them forward, and then we'll come onto both feet for down dog. Walk your hands back into a happy squat, and then slowly rise up. As you rise, come onto the balls of the feet, extend the arms up, and slowly tiptoe your way to the front of the mat. Once there, lowering the heels down. The hands come through heart center into the forward fold. And we'll do the second side, starting in the forward fold. So bend the knees as much as you need to feel the belly on the thighs, and then slide the hands under the feet so the tops of your palms are touching the bottoms of your feet. And then there, you can kind of push the balls of the feet into your hands, even use your toes for a little massage. And you can also lift the torso up a little bit, stretch into your shoulders as well. Lift the feet, slide the hands away. And this time, left foot will step back, lower the knee, 90-90 lunge. We'll rise up, arms reach forward and up. And start to lift the front heel and then lower. Lift the ball of the foot and the toes and lower. Lift the heel, lower, front of the foot, lower. Heel, lower this time, only toes lift and lower. Last time, heel lifts, lower. Toes lift and lower. Bring the hands to the inside of the right foot and then slide the right foot to the gate leg position. Readjust the hands until the wrists are under the shoulders. And we'll start to lift the outside of the foot and then push it down into the floor. And let's lift and push. Supination and pronation of the foot a little bit. Not really pronation, but just moving that ankle joint side to side, finding some mobility there. As you lower, start to slide the right leg behind your ball of the foot is on the floor, and let's start to rock forward and back a few times. Good. You can stop the rock, place the top of the foot onto the floor. Just push it a little bit into the ground. Feel that stretch. It might start to cramp. Then you can tuck the toes. An option to push into the hands. Lift the left knee off the floor. And then lower. And bring the right knee down. Walk the hands back until we come into that funny seat with one leg underneath you, the other foot forward. Just a little bit more of a stretch on top of that right foot. Let's interlace the fingers, maybe the awkward way this time. Let's roll those wrists. Move them intuitively, whatever feels right now. And then slide the hands off the low back a little bit. Stretch for the shoulders. Good. Let's lean forward. We'll come into tabletop, so we won't be going into down dog. We'll come into quadruped or tabletop and start to make circles. So move forward, just shift the weight forward to the side and back. You can have your toes tucked or not, whatever feels more stable. This is wrist mobility again. Let's switch the direction of the circles, going the other way. Coming to center. Let's turn the fingers to face the sides of the mat. And again, we'll shift forward to the side, back, the other side. So making about 3 circles in one direction. And then switch the direction of the circle. Coming to center, turn the fingers to face the back. So face your knees. You can soften the elbows a little bit. And now to whatever degree feels comfortable, lean back. Really stretching the backs of those wrists. And then come out of the stretch. We'll flip the hands so that you're on tops of the hands and fingers are still facing your knees. And now lean back as well. Good. Flip the palms again. We'll come into Virasana. Now allied. You may want to use a block here if so you're going to separate the feet and then bring the hips in between the feet. And if this just doesn't feel good on your knees or on the tops of the feet, you can grab a block or even a pillow or rolled up blanket and sit on that block. So you just want to be comfortable. And then we'll bring the hands into prayer. So the palms are touching each other, elbows are to the sides. Start to peel the bottoms of your hands away from each other, pushing into the fingers and slowly coming all the way until the tips of the fingers touch, and then reversing that, bringing the backs of the hands together, starting with the fingers and then the rest of the hand. And then again, we'll reverse. So sliding the hands away from each other, coming to the tips of the fingers, and then slowly pushing into the fingers until the heels of the hands touch. And let's separate the heels of the hands, pushing into the fingers, coming all the way the other side. Good, let's separate them again. And coming into a prayer. This time we'll move the hands from side to side, really separate all the fingers, even the thumb. A couple of times forward and back. And again, we'll separate the heels of the hands, pushing into the fingers, coming tips of the fingers touch. Let's reverse. And when your whole backs of the hands touch, move the hands again side to side a few times. Just going side to side. Come to center and again peel the hands away from each other. Tips of the fingers flip and then come back into the prayer. And then finally, we'll move the block away if you were using it and find some space on my wall. I didn't want to move the paintings or the pictures, so I'll come here where I have a little bit of space on the side. To get into the pose, come to face the side of the wall. So the wall is on your side and your hip is right up next to the wall. From there, you lower your upper body onto the floor and then move the legs to come up onto the floor. So you want, and then you can slide towards the floor until you feel your glutes touching. If that's too much on your hamstrings, you can bend the knees. And let's begin by extending the arms up again. We'll flex the feet and the hands, and then point the feet, flip the hands the other way. And again, flex and point. A couple more times, flex, point, flex, and point. And then just relax the feet wherever they feel comfortable. Make fists with your hands a couple of times, moving your wrists in circles, going in one direction, and then the other. And finally, releasing the arms, bringing them down by the sides. Palms can face down or up, whatever feels best for you. Closing your eyes and enjoying this pose for as long as you'd like. We'll stay here for a couple of minutes, but you can definitely pause the video and stay here for much longer than that if you need to, or if you really want to. Great pose to end your evening with, and it's really calming for the nervous system. It reverses the blood flow and can help with sleep if you're having troubles. Relax the body and relax your mind. Begin to deepen the breath a little bit. You can open the eyes or keep them closed and just listen to my words. To begin to come out of the pose, start to bend the knees so your feet will slide down the wall a little bit. And then slowly lower the knees to either side until they touch the floor. Turning all the way onto that side, take the top hand, push into the ground, and then make your way around into a seated position. Just taking a moment to just again realize how you're feeling. Enjoy this calmness of the mind and the body. Slide the hands to the heart center. Lower the chin to chest. Open the eyes and raise your head. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great evening, restful sleep from my heart to yours. Namaste.